Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Tessier of WrestleZone.com and joined by Robert DeFelice tonight to talk about Friday Night SmackDown just over 1 week before WrestleMania 38. Robert, how you doing tonight?
Doing a mixed bag, Colin.
Yeah,
It's a sad
going around.
day. Like Hunter Hearst Helmsley retiring, you know, that's a shame. SmackDown blowed. Like a blue, I don't know. It sucked.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It wasn't great. And let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. I do want to take a moment though. Obviously, the big news today. It was around 9 in the morning. Triple H tweeted, "Oh, I'm going to be on First Take doing this interview for the first time." Really, since he had his cardiac event, I think he's done like one other interview. He did something
He
for the
did
Next in
like
Line
5 seconds on an NBC show
Yeah,
and said, the NIL program is good.
yeah.
And that was it.
But the tweet said he'd be talking about his health and his future. So obviously, right away, you're like, all right, this is going to be something. So that was kind of the talk of the town today because Triple H, 13 time or like maybe
14.
more than 14 time, absolute legend, 14-time Hall of Famer.
No, 14-time world champion. Only a
Oh
two-time
my
Hall of
gosh.
Famer.
You're going to induct him 14 times because that's that incredible of a career. Oh boy. That just shows how I'm just not even feeling it right now. Boy, yes, an absolute legend, 14-time world champion, guaranteed future Hall of Famer, announced his retirement from in-ring competition. He detailed a lot of the extensive health problems he was having. Really tough to listen to because like he had kept it close to the chest. Everyone involved, kept it close to the chest. No one really knew exactly how bad it was. Turns out it was very extensive. Don't have to go into all of the details right now, but he was facing some really scary health problems that make it to the point that he really can't wrestle again. So he announced that, and then that was kind of the first big thing. Then later in the day, the full interview went up, definitely some stuff there in there as well. But he also made it clear that he's not done with WWE. He's focused again on development and recruiting and helping the company grow. So bit of a
He
mixed bag
also
there.
announced that before all of this, he was planned for Mania. So we'll never know what was planned, but they did want him to wrestle in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, like in a world where he still could have made sense. I don't know what that would have looked like. Could have
Cody.
faced Cody. That could have been. Hey,
It's
what if, right?
it looks like Cody.
you know, but absolutely, like,
Triple H is, I hope, a guy that gets his flowers now.
yeah, and
I
we
hope
saw
that
it
now the
today.
career is over. We can stop with the he married his way to the top. I want to give Triple H his flowers as a performer.
Yeah,
He was exemplary of what a world champion is in a time where nobody else really was. Like, it's hard to say, you didn't have that standout Ric Flair. Like, you had for the first portion of his world title runs, you had Austin, you had Rock, you had Foley, but for the bulk of his career, you had a lot of, you know, who was really there. You
right. He was the
had
guy a lot of the time. Yeah,
Cena, Orton, and Triple H, and that was it. And
yeah.
Hunter was the guy. And I really, it gutted me to listen to him today. And I'm just glad that he's healthy.
Absolutely, that's what matters here. If you haven't listened to it, it was Stephen A. Smith. The full interview was on ESPN Plus. It was like Stephen A's World, like that's what the full interview was. And it's rough. Like he was talking about how at one point he was talking about the health issues, and he said there were some times when he was like going under anesthesia for procedure and not knowing like would this be the last time he's awake. And as someone who's experienced that in my own, like I've had some surgeries as well. That's also part of my anxiety. Every time I wonder, I was like, shit, am I not going to wake up? But so that hit me though, because like that's a really scary place to be in, especially when you have a heart issue. But my things were you're not nearly that serious, obviously. So
And like, especially when you're 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next minute, oh, they're putting me under for an emergency heart surgery because I'm redlining near heart failure.
yeah,
And what happens? Like, it was very sobering. And
yeah,
I'll say this, whether it's in wrestling, out of wrestling, I really want people to do what you can while you can, because you get the vibe that like Hunter had a full farewell tour planned, right? And that's just out the window.
Yeah.
And so it's
And
like, do what you can while you can and enjoy life.
yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think this situation, as other things we've seen over the past 2+ years, there are no guarantees, and it's unfortunate. Part of the situation is that he didn't get to go out as he may have wished. Ironically, his last technical match unofficially
His
was
last televised match was
the thing with
against
Alexa
Randy.
Bliss. Technically, the thing where yeah, it's facing Randy, then Alexa Bliss came out. It was a whole weird thing. His last actual match was against Randy Orton in Super Showdown 2019, I believe. That was way back in June 19. So at least in a way, in a very bittersweet way, at least it was Randy.
It was Randy, and right before that, it was Dave. I think his last match was actually a tag team match with Nakamura.
That sounds right. There was the overseas tour, I think, or something like that. So,
which is wild when you think about his last match is a tag team match with Shinsuke.
But absolute legend, like we were talking about, he was the guy for me when I was growing up. That was when he was like Robbie, you just said, like that was like the Triple H, John Cena, Randy Orton really era, and that was the case for several years. And making me feel nostalgic today, just kind of thinking about that. Like this guy, he was such this top star when I was a kid, and now here we are all these years later. And then obviously the flip side for me, he built NXT Black and Gold, like one of my favorite products of wrestling ever. And that's why I was also relieved that he made it clear he will be, sticking around, helping develop the company's future. Because if he's like, there was some concern at some points, throughout this 2.0 rebuilding phase,
he was disappeared.
Yeah. So that it's a very bittersweet mixed bag of situation, but it's like, okay, he's forced to retire. He dealt with some really scary stuff, but he said he's back in the office, he's back at work, and that's a win in itself. So, but the top thing though is that he's healthy, he's overcome his issues, and that's definitely worth celebrating. So, as you said, Robert, a bit of a sobering day, a mixed situation, but again, glad that he got these come out the other side and seems okay. But we could talk for another hour about Triple H, obviously. But there
would be a much more entertaining show,
right? But this is the SmackDown post show, and we're here to talk about SmackDown, or at least things related to SmackDown. Now, tonight, I just pretty early on, I think the first half hour, I had this just feeling of okay, we've got about 50% video packages so far. There's a video package for Roman and Brock to open the show. Then we had the opening segment with Brock. Then we had the match. Then back to the Raw Rebound video package. And then the first match, there's a split screen replay of the Brock segment we got to begin the show. It was can't even get through one original segment without some kind of video package at this point. It's really, I should accept it. I should just stop letting it bother me as much. But it's not exactly fun to watch. I'm here to watch a show with new content, and when so much of it is built up with replays and things, not the best. But the big kind of overarching storyline, I guess, tonight was Brock Lesnar was in Roman Reigns' locker room eating grapes. Robert, that's a pretty steep drop from being a badass and smashing a car. Because I'm is this supposed to be cool?
People love grapes. Have you ever seen Matt Hardy eat grapes? Grapes are fantastic. Grapes are a great fruit.
They are.
But Brock Lesnar is a big meaty man who owns a butcher shop. And I think this would have been slightly more effective if he just had a tomahawk that he was just, going at. This is fine. Realistically, you're as hyped for this match as you're going to get. You don't need Monday. You don't need Friday. You just need to get to the show.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to happen between Roman and Brock is going to happen. And I have theories that maybe we'll get into later. Because we're not doing a show next week. By the way.
Robert, there are 6 shows.
7 shows.
Yeah.
And there's a Hall of Fame. There's a Ring of Honor and Impact. So we're not doing that. I'll just say it here then. I think WrestleMania 38 is Brock Lesnar's last match. I think Roman Reigns wins, and I think Brock Lesnar's done.
Okay. I could see it. I do.
Because what did he tell Pat McAfee that he was done?
He did. He said he was done, and the cha-ching.
And then they just said money, right? So I do think this will be his last match, and I do think it'll be good. But you're as hyped for this as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Roman cut a promo from the car. That was cool. All right, different things, new things,
Yeah.
and that's all I got for these two. Like,
Shout out to Brock Lesnar for spitting out the champagne and throwing the bottle. Because my friends, I hate champagne. My family laughs at me all the time because the first time I had it, I pretty much spit it out. I was like, this is disgusting. I've tried a couple more since then. I've not come around. I still really, really dislike champagne very much. So that kind of hit me. I was like, all right, cool. Like, Brock Lesnar doesn't like champagne. I don't like champagne. We got something in common. So I kind of like that. But what we do know, they both Reigns and Lesnar will appear on Raw. So not necessary, but they're going to do it because it's WrestleMania Raw. Then we're going to get
well,
WrestleMania SmackDown.
it is necessary because as I understand the rules of this match, the winner of this match is now just world champion and the top guy in both brands.
Right. But we already know that. That's the whole point. They'll need to appear on Monday. Like,
well, what else? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Have Rollins try to beat up who's left on the? But is Rollins gonna take out Liv Morgan and try to team with Rhea Ripley? Like, what is Rollins gonna do?
Yeah, I know I'd be complaining if neither one was on the show. It's a bit of a lose-lose in that sense. Like, just because the way this bill has gone, it's like tonight even. Like, we got the grapes and we got the champagne. Roman shows up later after the car promo and said, "Okay, Brock, if you're not out of my locker room, I'm going to come put your head through the wall." Brock, not in the locker room, comes out to the crowd, and as we've seen multiple times at this point, Brock just beats up some security guards with a chair this time. So a little point for difference there. And then Roman gets away and then escapes to the back. Brock stands tall. Roman says, "Oh, you're going to acknowledge me anyway," and we roll credits. Like, they've been doing the same thing, and as you said, we're already hyped as much as we could be anyway. So I don't know what they're going to do.
The build to this match stopped at Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. They've done this 3 times. This will be the 3rd time at WrestleMania. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. Again, at least they're different versions of the characters now, although we saw that at Crown Jewel. But for the WrestleMania part of it, we haven't seen this at WrestleMania. So that's kind of what I'm holding on to at this point. But Robbie, you mentioned a minute ago thinking this could be Brock's last match, and I could see that. But in a world where whoever wins, we got CM Chambers wondering if they could end the feud here kind of permanently at Hell in a Cell. That would be in June with a rematch.
Jesus Lord God Almighty. What do you need them to go into Hell in a Cell for?
What
benefit do you need for them to go inside Hell in a Cell?
The only thing I could think of, well, 2 things. I don't think they've had one yet. They had a steel cage match, right? But now
they had a steel cage. They've had like a no DQ.
Yeah. So there's that. And there's stuff they could do with that. It could be like violent and this like brutal like battle. So there's something stuff for that. I could see them doing it. Not to say that's a good or bad thing. The only thing I can think of to kind of justify it and really make it worthwhile, I guess, is if they do it as some people have predicted, like Paul Heyman either swerves Reigns again or directly cost Brock Lesnar. But if this is like, if we're thinking it might be a way for Brock Lesnar to go out, like that, this would probably be the best way. Like,
I think WrestleMania, Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar, and I think if they don't end WrestleMania Night 2 with this, they're ending WrestleMania, the Raw after Mania, with Dwayne Johnson. I think absolutely that's what you're doing, and you're gonna go, "I'll see you in 12 months at SoFi Stadium."
I'd rather do that. I think I would rather they do that at SummerSlam, because the 12 months is a long time. Again, when I was a wee lad, I was able to kind of like get into the Rock and John Cena thing for a year. But now, something about it just like, again, and maybe I'm more cynical now, but like, there's no way they could keep that interesting for a whole year.
Right.
The way things have been going. But we have Michael Coveney points out Brock supposedly was on an 8-match deal. He has supposedly like maybe 3 matches left. I think he had Crown Jewel.
An 8-match deal when? As of SummerSlam?
I thought the report was that he signed an 8-match deal when he came back. And he didn't.
So, okay. All right. So we did Crown Jewel.
Day 1.
Day 1.
Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. Yeah, technically.
Technically wrestled twice, right?
He did wrestle twice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You're right.
no.
You're right. So
Now, then you go to Elimination
yeah,
Chamber.
then Madison Square Garden.
My God, that's 7. My
Not counting
God.
WrestleMania.
And then the WrestleMania would be 8.
All right. There you have it, folks.
Hold on, let's do Crown Jewel, Day 1, Rumble again, Chamber, oh God,
That's freaking brilliant, honestly. Just like
that's
it.
amazing.
There you go. All right. So now that we've done the math, I'm definitely thinking like that could be the case. That's could just pure speculation, pure kind of prediction, maybe, and at the least thinking that could happen. You know, again, there's no better way to go out than WrestleMania one last time. Brock's he's made it clear he's enjoying the run he's on. So, you know, might as well kind of go out on top in that sense. You know, he's been enjoying it, enjoying the storyline, not having to come back and risk diminishing returns. You know, the only thing I would say is that it would be a bummer if we never got Lashley Lesnar. Like, I don't know, it feels like that is something left on the table given Lashley's injury and everything. That's something that would be appealing, I think, to me if Lesnar does stick around. But
put him in the Vibe Pit or something.
There you go. That'd be interesting. Bring that back. Bring up the main roster. That'd be kind of interesting there. But I don't know. Now we've done the math. You mentioned it. We're connecting the dots. I could see it. I don't know. I do think like Reigns will win. But again, if anybody would beat him at this point, it would be Lesnar. But I think I'm gonna side with Reigns. Yeah, I would agree. And then as for Lesnar, yeah, could very well be his last time there. But damn, I had no idea that the math lined up that cleanly, man. Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. That's the main event. That's WrestleMania Sunday. So, boy.
You want to talk about the main event of WrestleMania Saturday? Are you at all excited to see?
No, Robert, I'm not.
And Charlotte.
I tweeted about this during the show tonight. All right, so WrestleMania Saturday, main event, big time main event, big match. Robert, have they told you it's stupendous? They're going to have Charlotte Flair face Ronda Rousey. Huge WrestleMania match, big deal. I know people were excited about it when Ronda came back. Inherently, like, yeah, that's a big deal. I was more excited at the idea of her facing Becky than to do the Ronda thing. And it turned into my belt is prettier than your baby. It turned into I've never tapped out. Yes, she has. It turned into you're a one-trick pony, even though you have 2 tricks. Yikes. They have like managed to. I was interested in the first place, and they've managed to actively lessen any interest that I did have.
Oh,
if this were anybody else, Robert, anybody else, pretty much, or like if or I'll at least say if it wasn't like a main event match, people would be like ripping this apart. But the only thing that's kind of saving it is like, well, at least it's Charlotte and Rousey, so like, you know, they're 2 big stars, and that's kind of like the redeeming factor here. This storyline has not been good, and like tonight was like I don't say actively bad, like another kind of miss and a string of not great builds for this match, at least for me.
You know, I think WWE has a tendency to overcomplicate stories, and this is maybe one of the more egregious examples. It's Charlotte and Ronda. Yeah, I said this last year with Bianca and Sasha. Just show them training. Ronda did a video with Shayna Baszler, and I was like, yo, it looks like she's getting ready for a fight. That's cool. That's the story you tell. And then Charlotte goes and does an interview with Graham Matthews of Bleacher Report, and the headlines coming out of it are Charlotte Flair says, after WrestleMania, you won't remember my title reign for anything other than WrestleMania. And it's like, I know she didn't mean it the way it comes out, the way it reads, but look at the way that reads. Like, look at, you won't remember anything anyway, because it's all going to boil down to WrestleMania. It sucks, but who else is there for her to beat? Obviously, Ronda's got to win here.
Yeah.
Who else is there for Charlotte? Charlotte needs to go to Raw. She needs to face Bianca and Rhea. She said so herself. That's all that's left.
Yeah.
She hasn't fought Bianca yet, and she hasn't had like a real rivalry with Ripley without a million distractions or a pandemic.
Right. Something said for that. Yeah, that interview was very interesting to me because, like, the way maybe I'm reading too into it, but like the way she said that, she's like, you know, she was asked about her reign, and she said, you know, I wish I had defended the title more on pay-per-view. I enjoyed facing Naomi and Toni Storm. She referenced the Becky Lynch feud, and then she said, yeah, like no matter what, everything the question was like the run she's been on and like everything she's been doing. She said, you know, everything I've been doing this whole run I've been on will be forgotten about after WrestleMania. The way I read into that. Again, maybe it was her tone, maybe it was me projecting my own prediction. But I was like, that sounds like someone saying, "Yeah, you know, I'm gonna lose the title anyway." So like, or the focus will be on Ronda winning.
You're only gonna remember the Ronda match anyway.
Yeah,
This will blend in with my like 10 other title reigns.
yeah,
Sucks, but it is what it is.
yeah.
And that's not like we're getting into this area for me where I think people are too honest. Like, lie to me a little bit. You know what I mean? For God's sake, your blunt honesty is more deflating and depressing. Lie to me a little bit. Tell me that you're the best in the world. Don't do this thing where you're like, you don't care because it's the Ronda match anyway. Just don't even worry about the rest of my championship run.
I think there's a balance, right? I prefer like somewhere in between of honesty and selling the story, I guess. But yeah, that was. I mean, I'll commend her. Like she was honest. Like she was like, you know, she could have easily just kind of kayfabed it or whatever, and she actually was pretty kind of forthcoming. So I don't know. Pros and cons either way, but Charlotte's the champion who'll be on WrestleMania. You know who's the champion who will not be on WrestleMania, Robert? Ricochet.
False.
What?
False. He will be on WrestleMania.
SmackDown. Okay.
He will be on WrestleMania. Colin, if it's in the name, it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania Raw on Monday night. WrestleMania Raw. Big WrestleMania Raw. You know, the RK Bro versus the Usos at WrestleMania Raw. Like, you gotta understand, if you put WrestleMania in front of everything, it's magically more important. Who's gonna headline WrestleMania? Backlash. You know, like just parentheses.
Branding. Yeah. Well, at the very least, Ricochet will be on WrestleMania SmackDown, but because he lost twice tonight. He was facing. Okay, the way that this was confusing is I thought they had the Lethal Lovers, Los Lotharios, come out. I thought we were getting Angel Garza versus or Angel versus Ricochet. Then they do a switcheroo and do Humberto, and then Ricochet beats Humberto when Garza distracts him, and then Ricochet's like, nah. This is a match from a year ago in the pandemic. We're gonna do this. Like we're gonna run it back. I'm gonna face the other guy to kill some time, and then Garza costs Ricochet, like holds down his foot. It was via count. So Ricochet, the IC champion, loses twice tonight. At the very least, they went with the logical route and said, okay, Garza, that was the championship contender match, so he would get a title shot. Humberto won 2. What are they gonna do? They're gonna do a triple threat match next week on WrestleMania SmackDown. That'll be good, but having your champion lose twice is not great. And he wasn't even on the show last week, so this is disappointing. I thought like Ricochet winning the title, maybe I was a little too optimistic. I thought that it was kind of a sign things were turning around. And now this is.
What do you mean? He's the number 2 babyface on SmackDown.
Reportedly, this does not look like that.
No. That's not even like a report. I want you to mentally think about the baby faces on SmackDown. Tell me how many you get to before you get to Ricochet.
There's Drew. Kofi, I don't know where he falls in the rankings. Xavier Woods came back tonight. We'll talk about that.
All right, so the New Day as a unit.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre and there's really not anybody.
I should say, like there are people. Okay, I'm looking at the list for the people announced for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale that was announced for next week. But you got Mansoor, the Viking Raiders. That's about it. Tough times, Robert. Tough times. Not the most depth here these days. At least on the SmackDown, kind of the mid-card side of things. But even the main event scene. Brock Lesnar is not officially a member of SmackDown. And then if we're thinking that he might be leaving or retiring, potentially, that's a big loss. But again, he's technically a free agent. He
can go wherever they need him because he's on Raw for the most part.
But, I mean, Drew McIntyre is doing things.
For me, it is Drew McIntyre. Like
Yeah,
he's the guy.
yeah. But beyond that, yeah, I mean, I guess Ricochet technically, if you really kind of boil it down, yeah, he's probably the number 2 babyface. But if anything, that's again more of a sign of where we stand right now. But that'll be a good match. I would hope he'll win that match. You know give him they gets a decent ring with it. I'd be pretty disappointed if he just lost the title in this triple threat match next week, but it should be good. All 3 guys very talented. But yeah, they also announced the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I just ran through some of the people, but Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Akira Tozawa, Reggie, R-Truth, Shanky, Jinder Mahal, Mansoor, Madcap Moss, the Viking Raiders, Commander Aziz, Apollo Crews, Damian Priest, Robert Roode, and United States Champion Finn Balor is in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale.
Doesn't mean he can't compete at WrestleMania.
He's not going to compete at WrestleMania.
Doesn't mean that's Friday. We got Saturday. We got Sunday after.
Best case pre-show at this point, and that is a damn shame because like I at least thought we were going to get the Demon versus Damian thing. At least that makes sense, and not even get that. Man, that's tough. And again, now Ricochet and Balor both apparently. I should point out, I saw a bunch of tweets going around with the IC title match being on WrestleMania SmackDown. This will be a full year. The IC title has gone without being defended on pay-per-view or premium live event in this case, which is crazy. That's crazy. And I know Nakamura was hurt for a while, but still, a whole year. Stephen pointing out almost not in the Battle Royale, but supposedly they might have some plans.
But why isn't he in the Battle Royale? Like, he can win the Battle Royale and then go fight Bobby Lashley. It's on Friday. It's on Friday. It's not on Saturday. It's not on Sunday. It's on Friday. Why isn't Omos in the Battle Royale? Why isn't Gable Steveson in the fucking Battle Royale? Like, what are we doing? But it's okay, though, because it's WrestleMania.
SmackDown. Hey, Damian Priest could take some solace. He went from teaming with Bad Bunny in a featured match at WrestleMania last year to being in a Battle Royale on WrestleMania SmackDown. A match. What's
your definition of solace?
Comfort.
I don't know if I take comfort in those things.
I was being sarcastic.
I don't care. You're a journalist. You need to be bluntly honest, pal.
Come on. We're just trying to have a good time here, and that includes throwing in some sarcasm as needed. But poor Damian Priest. Such heights he was at last year, and then we won the U.S. title.
I thought he was winning the Rumble.
At one point, it looked like they were going there, and the wheels fell off big time. And then now he's not. I would be surprised if he won this match. I think it. Well, let's look at the list again. Maybe Balor. I could see Priest, I guess, but otherwise, I don't see anybody. I could see him doing Madcap Moss for reasons. None of these guys jump out, but Robert, I never like a sound like this. It's not going to matter. Jey Uso won last year.
That's right. I think it should have been renamed the Yokozuna Memorial, but nobody listens to me. So,
speaking of renaming things, at least part of the narrative going on today was that the Warrior Award should be renamed in honor of Shad Gaspard, the late great Shad Gaspard, who just today was announced will be receiving the award for his heroism and just being a great person. But obviously, everyone knows he tragically passed away saving his son during an accident, and could not be given to a more deserving guy. I think he should have gotten it last year. But
I understand. Like, I do understand why they didn't give it to him last year, because they had the Titus thing built in prior to the pandemic. He would have gotten in 2020.
Yeah.
They give it to the other guy, the one who was with WWE forever and nobody really knew who he was.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because, like, why not give it to someone like that when you don't have an audience? So it's not like, hey, who is this guy? Wait a minute. Give it to Shad when there's an audience to celebrate him.
So that's wonderful. Again, just a very unfortunate situation, obviously, but at least they'll be able to honor his legacy. I hope they bring in JTG as his primetime partner. If not to like receive the award on his behalf, just to be there, maybe say some words about him. Like, I don't know, like, be kind of weird not to. JTG was
JTG is
WWE.
obviously going to be there.
I would hope so. Like, to me, I'm saying, I'm like, why would he not be? I mean, I would imagine he will
It'd
be.
be very uncomfortable if he wasn't.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Again, very, very deserving for him. But otherwise, Robert, there's not a lot. There was a video package for Happy Corbin. And to that I say I miss Sad Sack Corbin because he was a lot better than Happy Corbin.
I miss Lone Wolf Baron Corbin. I think I'm the only one. But
Yeah.
I like Baron Corbin. Like, he could have been great. I mean, he must be doing great now. He's happy.
There you go. You know. At one point in the show, I was thinking they announced earlier on there would be a fatal 4-way women's match. It would be Sasha Banks, Selena Vega, was it Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. So, you know, a nice preview of the women's tag title match. And given at that point, this was like maybe 9:30, maybe even 9:20, 9:30. Not much time left in the show. Nothing really happened. Again, Broncos are eating grapes. Not much happening beyond that. At this point, I was like, okay, it's up to this match to save the show. And then pretty quickly, it just breaks down to this, like, you know, the 8-woman brawl with all the tag team partners because there's no DQs. I'm like, this could be a really cool match. And now it's turning into like a free-for-all kind of thing. Thankfully, they you know, banned everyone else from excited, so they actually got a couple minutes of a solid match. Sasha Banks won, made Zelina Vega tap out. I feel like Vega never wins on TV, which is a damn shame because, like,
she won the Queen of the Ring, and then she won the tag titles. So
but Robert, it's what have you done for me lately? I feel like she never wins lately. She won the titles,
she's the queen. Like, you don't need to make any more sense. She's always grandfathered in now. She's the queen, no matter what happens.
Nonetheless, I think I'd be happy if they gave her a couple more ones here and there. But with Sasha winning tonight, I feel pretty certain in my prediction that Sasha and Naomi will win the titles at WrestleMania. Steven's saying he's hoping to see that as well. I have to think they'll win the titles. Like, I really don't see it being anybody else at this point. At least I hope not. I think they'd be the best option here. At least that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I with the exception that I think Liv Morgan needs to win something, I think Sasha and Naomi are the only option.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're going to give Liv her due at some point. I just don't know if it has to be here because Sasha and Naomi is such a cool team that I think that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a big moment for them. Sasha, you know, wait, no, doesn't she have her streak because she hasn't won WrestleMania? I feel like that's
that's a thing, yeah.
So, like, I think it's well past time they snap that. Like, give Sasha a win, and heck, you could even give Rhea and Liv, you know, the titles at WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know, but just at least give Sasha the WrestleMania win. Just, you know, I think that'd be good. I think she deserves it. I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be a good match. Everyone involved is very talented. Speaking of someone very talented, I was very happy tonight to see the return of the King. We're talking about the Queen. The King also returned to his kingdom. Xavier Woods back in action on TV for the first time since January. He's been sidelined for quite a while now. This was unfortunately a little botched by the ring announcer. They announced that Woods would be accompanying Kofi Kingston out to the ring for his match, and then Kofi cut a promo trying to, like, reveal Woods as the mystery replacement for Ridge Holland. Kind of a little jumbled there, but the crowd still was very happy to see Xavier Woods, so he got his way from him. The King is back, and he beat Ridge Holland pretty quickly. No announcement.
This is fine. Like, let's be real. Like, Woods was back on March 12th.
Right.
And then, like, Kofi does an interview. He's like, God, I hope Woods is back so we can mix it up with the tag teams.
Yeah.
And good. Woods is back. I'm glad.
Me too.
You know?
SmackDown's always better with him on it. He's such a bright, you know, energetic guy. Like, he's a good guy. I'm a big fan of him. I gotta see him back. They announced this for next week or WrestleMania. This could be a pre-show match, I guess. I don't even know. Or for next week, maybe WrestleMania SmackDown being a special show. But Steven's saying, like, he would like to see a tag team match with New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge. Feels possible, if not probable. It's just weird that you've got Butch being the odd man out there. But I guess he could just be at ringside. That's fine. But I feel like this some kind of New Day Sheamus Ridge thing and or Butch will probably be happening sooner and later because that's been the obvious direction. Even with Big E going down, that's been where we've been heading for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So Do you think there'll be WrestleMania SmackDown or potentially like a pre-show thing, or what do you think that they might kind of slot that
Probably
in?
SmackDown. I think they should be on the pre-show. Like I think it's New Day's important.
Yeah.
They're great.
I mean, like uh, yeah, I mean, it's just WrestleMania. Like even being on the pre-show, at least like it's just WrestleMania, and like I would say they deserve better than the pre-show, but that is what it is. I hope to see that. I mean, they've only announced like we were talking about earlier, the Battle Royale and the title match for next week, so they could easily slot that in there. But we'll wait and see on that one, But otherwise, Robert, like there's really nothing. Like there was the Brock eating grapes thing that played out throughout the night. There was the Ronda Rousey thing, Ricochet and the setting up the title match. Just a very like not substantial episode of SmackDown. Like this was very light on anything of consequence by and large. I hope next week is better because it's go home show. It's WrestleMania SmackDown.
Show and it's WrestleMania SmackDown.
So I hope
they'll be in Dallas. It'll be hot. It'll be good.
But with all this in mind, Robert, if you had to kind of give a number for the show, five. Yeah. I would probably agree. I mean, I did not come out of the show feeling very encouraged. I got Ricky given a 7, so not bad there. But I mean, yeah, there wasn't even really like anything that redeeming of a factor. Like usually there's one really good match or one thing that I really enjoy. But even tonight, like the Roman and Brock stuff, even like pretty much kind of doing the same thing they're doing there. And Ricochet losing twice, all these other things. So I might go slightly higher there with 7.2. Same with the 5 as well. So a bit of a range here.
I think next week we're all going to be in the spirit. We're all going to be super energetic. We're all going to enjoy it. It's Hall of Fame. It's Ring of Honor. Like next week will be fun. Don't forget to enjoy it. Like, I know that's the hook at the end of the show, but like enjoy wrestling because next week is the week for pro wrestling.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, but just to repeat, yeah, we're not gonna be able to do the show next week, unfortunately. I'll be covering Ring of Honor live because that's my beat. That's gonna be their first show of the year, so that's a big deal. There's also an Impact show, there's a New Japan show, there's SmackDown, AEW Rampage. I'm probably forget there's GCW's got a bunch of shows. Like there's just so much stuff. It's a lot. It's exciting. It's crazy, but we love it. It's great. Obviously, there's an abundance of wrestling to enjoy. Any type, any style, any brand, any way you choose. You can't go wrong. There's so much, especially this week, WrestleMania week, WrestleMania weekend itself. So much to enjoy. We're going to do our very best to cover it across the board as best we can. Obviously, there's again SmackDown, Rampage, pretty much 3 shows outside that on Friday across the Ring of Honor, Impact, and New Japan, NXT on Saturday, WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday, GCW the Collective across the entire weekend. So much stuff.
Raw after Mania at some point. Cody Rhodes.
At some point, we got questions earlier. Someone's like, still no Cody Rhodes. Guys, Cody's
at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, Cody Rhodes will be on programming.
At some point.
Like we got good times coming.
Yeah, Steven saying a lot of wrestling. Awesome time to be a fan. That it is. It's important to try and
always
focus on the positive. Especially to me, I like that. I was kind of not kidding, but kind of being a little cheeky. Someone tweeted like, "What are you most excited about for WrestleMania week?" And I retweeted Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. And I was serious.
Your Monday and Wednesday co-host was a little taken aback by that.
John is a WWE loyalist through and through, and I for that.
If I had to like pick an overall show, it'd be very hard. I think moment-wise, I'm most looking forward to whatever Cody does, if Cody does.
Cody's gonna do. Cody's gonna do.
I'm looking forward to, NXT Stand and Deliver. That should be a fun show. But I think WrestleMania will actually be the most fun of all the shows this upcoming weekend. I'm looking forward to that new Ring of Honor logo too.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for those things.
I mean, but like we said, there's just so much to enjoy. Like I am in many ways, if not loyal to, I guess, biased toward Ring of Honor. Like they're I've been covering them since I started here, and I'm thrilled they're going to be back. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be covering that live. We've got to figure out how we're going to navigate that with SmackDown, Rampage, and everything in between. But I'll be covering that because that's a big deal. I have several interviews, or at least a couple interviews ahead of the collective. I interviewed Shane Taylor Promotions. I'll be going up possibly on Monday. Keep an eye out for that one. I set up an interview with Chris Dickinson. That'll be going up next week as well. He's got a big match against Minoru Suzuki. Living legend was Minoru Suzuki at Bloodsport.
And he's fighting Cardona.
And fighting my guy, Matt Cardona. I've been with him. It's already up. The NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Still crushing it. Still doing great things. Looking forward to that one as well. And
a multiverse of matches. Yeah,
crazy,
like
oh my gosh.
Listen, wrestling is awesome when you don't have to get bogged down in the nuance of lame stories. But with that said, everybody just enjoy wrestling, guys. Like seriously, enjoy wrestling. Hey, let's not forget the real meat of the weekend, the real juice of the weekend. And that's on Monday, April 4th, when Veer comes.
Yes.
Because Veer,
joyous day.
Veer is coming. He has been coming for a long, long time. We're all sitting here, maybe mouth agape. I don't know. The Veer's coming, and we're gonna get to see it.
It's going to be a beautiful sight when Veer finally comes. It's going to happen on April 4th, the Raw After Mania. Couldn't be a more fitting occasion. What a day to come. The Raw After Mania. It's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a special day. We're all going to applaud when Veer finally comes to Raw. Going to be a good day. Both that, looking forward to that. That's even, I mean, we got to get through a whole lot of wrestling before that, but we're going to be here. I'll be here. John's going to be at Raw on Monday. I'll be here the comfort of my own home doing the Raw post show, and on Tuesday doing the NXT post show for the go homes. I guess I should say the WrestleMania Raw post show, and then on Tuesday for the NXT post show for Stand and Deliver. No show on Friday because there's just so much wrestling. I can't possibly try to fit that in as well.
But I'm sure we're getting shows on Saturday, Sunday, and back again on Monday. Like, just enjoy wrestling, guys. It's gonna be a fun week.
You got that right. With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening. And again, enjoy wrestling and take care.